We're doing Ho'oponopono Part 2. I'm just going to review what we did last week. Ho'oponopono is a perfect tool for unity because it emphasizes that we are one with God and one with one another. And so when we use Ho'oponopono, which we will be doing today, for something outside ourselves, we know that as we clear our own consciousness, we are actually clearing the consciousness of the collective. And so that's how Dr. Hugh Lin cleared a ward of the criminally insane, because he knew that as he cleaned his consciousness, he was doing that for the patients. And so he did not even have to have direct contact with them, but he knew at a higher level that this is what was happening. And so that's an important aspect of this. Now, last week, we did Ho'oponopono on our own physical conditions. And at class on Wednesday, I brought my trusty You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. Many people know of this book and her work. And so we looked up specific conditions so that we could zero in on that and do Ho'oponopono for clearing the consciousness of very specific conditions. And I did Ho'oponopono during the week with my friend in Utah. She has so many conditions. I'm amazed that she can get around, but she's an inspiration to me because nothing stops her. She's one of those people that gets up out of bed and takes a hike, even though it's very painful for her. But she has such a drive to live her life so fully, she doesn't allow that to stop her. So we and she's also familiar with Ho'oponopono. And so I said, well, which condition should we work on with Ho'oponopono? And she said, I had a revelation, and that is every one of these ailments is because of inflammation. So that is the underlying condition. And so I looked up inflammation, and I had a bookmark here. Here we go. Inflammation, seeing red, inflamed thinking, anger and frustration about conditions you are looking at in your life. Well, I know her history, and here's the consideration about what ails us, if you will. It starts from childhood. It starts from coming out of the womb, and the programming begins, and our interpretation of what's happening in the world begins. So she had a very difficult relationship with her mother specifically, and she was always seeing red. She was always irritated and angry and frustrated. And so as a child, this is where the conditions that we experience as we get older, it begins back then. And we think, oh, this condition just developed and I don't know why. No, it didn't just develop. it's been growing inside, when we suppress that energy and not release it. And our generation, this is new for us to learn about this, right? And so she spent a lifetime holding that in her body and being angry and inflamed. And the result is many, many, many physical conditions that are life-threatening, truly. And so I think that we need to keep that in mind as we do our healing work. It's been in our bodies growing for quite some time. And hopefully one day we can do instantaneous healings as Jesus did, but we haven't evolved to that point yet. But we're on our way. We're on our way. Okay. So I had a little bit of an emotional meltdown in front of you all. What was it, 3 weeks ago? I lose track of time. And here's the thing about Ho'oponopono as well. What is brought to our attention is in our consciousness. And here's what we need to get. Everything is consciousness. Everything is consciousness. The material density is from consciousness. So what Ho'oponopono does is cleanse consciousness when we use it consciously. That is what this is about. So we have so many unconscious, you're going to be hearing that word a lot. We have so many unconscious beliefs and thoughts going on that it's no wonder that we're in a world of chaos. So when I had my meltdown, because the president of my country bombed Iran, and who knows what the repercussions will be, and on and on and on and on. So I did go into that place of concern, and I'll even use the word fear, okay? And so something was brought into my consciousness, and because it was brought into my consciousness, I am responsible for what's in my consciousness. So you see where I'm going? And so today we're going to be looking at that. So it's easier to look at ourselves. Oh, yeah, I created that, that makes sense. But when I say war is in my consciousness, that means I have something there to cleanse. We all do. Unless you live in a cave, that is in your consciousness. Corruption is in our consciousness. We may not be personally corrupt, but there's something in us that is, okay? And that's what we get to discover for ourselves. So I'm going to look at war. I'm going to take that one. That's pretty heavy duty, right? So I get to ask myself, and I'm going to ask you to do the same. How is war in my consciousness? How is it in your consciousness? Well, I don't know about you guys, but I'm at war with a neighbor I don't like, right? I wish that neighbor would do something different than what they're doing. And so in my mind, in my consciousness, I do have a little war going. And I may not be firing guns or missiles or bombs or what have you, but maybe in my own little world and with my neighbor, I am. And so I'm asking you to look at that for yourselves. If I complain, if I'm driving my car, which in Utah, I go everywhere in my car, but I'm learning to use your bus system and even the metro, yay! But when I'm driving my car, there's plenty of opportunity for aggravation, for irritation, I'll tell you, because drivers don't drive as well as I do. Oh, I'm glad you laughed, because I am being facetious. And so if somebody cuts me off, I get irritated, and I curse them. And then I think, what about that time I cut somebody off and they cursed me? And so, and it probably happened more than once, but I'm thinking of a particular time, and I did not have to do that. Instead, I could have slowed down and got behind that person instead of speeding up and trying to get in front of them. I hate when people do that, and I did it myself. So here's what I want you to consider. Every time you accuse, blame somebody, something out there, I'm asking you to look within yourself and see that, oh my gosh, I have done that, or I have thought that, even if I did not do a particular thing. When we find it in our own consciousness, then we can do the cleansing that Ho'oponopono allows. This is such an important concept. This is why I'm doing part 2. Because I want to drum it home. So today, we are going to work on the affairs of the world, if you will. What is out there that really, really concerns us? Because in some way, it is in here too. Now, I've told you that Dr. David Hawkins, in his book, Power versus Force, he says that in his work, he found that one person living consciously at the level of love counteracts 750,000 other people in the lower levels of consciousness. Now that's remarkable. And so as I clear my consciousness, raising my vibration, hopefully into love, I can affect 750,000 other people in those lower states. Now, I don't know if anybody's familiar with A Course in Miracles, and many books have been written around A Course in Miracles. One that comes to mind, I think it was written by Jim Polsky. I'm not remembering the first name. These books are from long ago, but so are we. So maybe you'll remember. He wrote a book called Love is Letting Go of Fear. And the Course in Miracles basically says we are either love, living love, being love, or being in fear, one or the other. And every other maladjustment is a result of fear. And so we get to be aware of when we are in fear, where all that judgment comes from, or in love. So during my meltdown, how many weeks was it ago when I had my meltdown? Nobody remembers. Anyway, the week of my meltdown, I was in fear. I was not in love. And because I was in fear, boop, 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 my vibration came down to that level of fear. So I was no longer resonating love. And so I was not in integrity. That's what I'm telling you. And so you guys get to, you guys, lucky you, that you get to watch my personal evolution here on a Sunday morning. Aren't you fortunate? But I hope I'm taking you with me. That's what I'm hoping. So how do we do this? Ho'oponopono is one of the tools that I am giving you. It's one of the best tools. And I have a toolbox full of tools, and I bet you all do too. But I'm telling you, Ho'oponopono is the one to remember and pull out because it's easy to do and it's effective. So we are working on the collective consciousness today. That is the work we are doing together today. So how many of us are here? 12 on Zoom and 6 here, 6 here in the room. So we are powerful this morning, okay? I want to make sure. I wanted to take a moment and talk about love, okay? People have different definitions of love, of course, but I think that everyone here has a high concept of love. So we're talking about unconditional, no strings attached. We're talking about a love that is harmonious and respectful and honoring of everyone, no matter what our differences are, that we're able to listen, seeking to understand, and wanting to, and praying for instead of cursing. No cursing drivers that go too slow in the fast lane. Blessing them instead, or whatever your particular issue is. Mine's driving. So what else is love? Unity, patience, forgiveness. That's what Ho'oponopono is all about, right? Forgiveness. Bottom line, that's what we're working on. And so we forgave our bodies. Well, we asked for forgiveness of our bodies for unconsciously creating the conditions that are not not our wellness, our sickness, our diseases. So love, and I'm just curious, does anybody else have another definition for love that you would like to shout out? You're welcome to. Here's your moment. If you're on Zoom, you have to unmute. Anybody? What else? What is it? Love is eternal? Yes. Anything else?
Acceptance. Unconditional acceptance.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. One more? Anyone? Okay, we probably have it pretty well covered. So that's what we get to work on. And when we find ourselves in fear, catch it, catch that, and instead say, hey, coming out of fear and into love. And sometimes that takes faith, doesn't it? So the person I was telling you, my friend, I have to share with you a story. She shared with me. This is the friend that had the inflammation. And she said, I forgot about Ho'oponopono. So she learned Ho'oponopono like I did many, many years ago. Funny how a precious tool gets buried in the toolbox, yeah? And she said, you know, I remember when I first learned about Ho'oponopono, so she's a psychiatric nurse. And she says, I was working with a doctor who was impossible. He made life miserable for everyone. And I would come home from work so discouraged and getting ready to quit my job because of this doctor. And she said, but I just learned Ho'oponopono and decided to give it a try to see what would happen. So she spent, some time doing Ho'oponopono and forgiving him. And she said that when she went into work the next day, he was different. Or was she different? Anyway, there was a difference. And she said they became friends and never had a conflicted work relationship after that. So powerful stuff, this. It really is. Okay, clearing our consciousness. We are going to clear our consciousness of war today or anything that's going on. It's just that there's so many wars, so many global conflicts, right? And so are you ready to do a big job? Because what we do here in this space, I'm telling you, it can contribute to a change in the world. Okay, so need some water. So I'm going to remind you, the 4 phrases are, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, and thank you. And by the way, you don't have to say it in any particular order, but this is the way it's the order in which it's usually presented. But just know that. And so those are the 4 phrases. And last week and this week, I'm explaining to you what each phrase means, what it entails. So somebody was telling me, oh, it was too complex, too many words. And so you don't have to know all the words. That is not the point. I'm telling you the concept behind those phrases. Okay, so once you know the concept behind the phrases, all you really have to do is say, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you, and I love you. So remember, I'm sorry for any beliefs, thoughts, words, deeds, emotions that consciously or unconsciously are contributing to a condition that is less than love and wholeness. Please forgive me for my miscreations, for I knew not what I was doing. Thank you for showing me that my consciousness needs cleansing, for the creation of this condition came from my mind and can be healed from the cleansing of my mind. And I love you. I love life. I love the part I play in making this a better world. Okay, so let us begin. So go ahead and close your eyes. Take some deep breaths. I am sorry for any beliefs, thoughts, words, actions, emotions that are unconsciously or consciously contributing to the condition of war in this world. These are thoughts and beliefs that are less than love and wholeness and joy. These are beliefs in my consciousness that are destructive. And I root out these beliefs and thoughts, no matter who or what they are directed to. If it is less than love and wholeness and joy and appreciation for everybody and everything, I get to clear my consciousness of this. Please forgive me of my miscreations, for I did not know that I was part of this creation. I did not know of my participation in the collective unconsciousness of creating this condition. But thank you for showing me that my consciousness needs to be cleansed. I get to come to 0 point in consciousness where I'm a clean slate. This is the work I am doing now. Thank you for showing me that I get to do this work. And I know that as I cleanse my own consciousness, I am affecting great numbers of other people who are in lower states of consciousness. This is the work I am choosing to do. I love you, world. I love you, earth. I love you, humanity. And it hurts my soul to see destruction, to see animosity and conflict, to see killing. It hurts my heart so deeply because I love this beautiful planet. I love my brothers and sisters. We are one. And I so want to do my part to make a change in this world, to eliminate war, to eliminate great conflicts, to bring in love and understanding. I love my family, my friends. I love this community. I want it to be healthy and whole and full of love. So I'm doing my part. I'm doing my part to bring in the energy of love around the globe. And I acknowledge that the divine is within world leaders that have dense, egoic agendas. And I pray that the divinity within each of them pierces through that density and opens and touches their hearts with love and compassion. And that divinity touches their minds, enlightens their minds, such that they desire truly, with all their hearts, desire to create a world that works for everyone. I acknowledge God within me, the divine within me, source consciousness within me. I am the best of humanity, making a difference in the world. Thank you. Thank you, God, for the gift of Ho'oponopono. Thank you for the opportunity to use Ho'oponopono as a powerful tool every day, maybe many times a day, as we cleanse our consciousness and come into a state of love. And this is so. Amen. So I'm asking you, please, let us do this together. Let us make a commitment to give this tool a try. Do it in your own personal life and do it for our world. Oh boy, you guys. I'm an emotional person. I admit it.
If it helps to know, Reverend Sandi, we're all emotional beings.
Thank you, we are.
Having a spiritual experience.
You know, this is a small but powerful congregation. I want you to know that. After all, we have a portal.
Reverend Sandi,
Yes.
I'm reminded that
I don't know who's speaking.
it's Anna.
Anna.
That we have also closed our times together on Sundays with the peace song, Let There Be Peace on Earth and Let It Begin With Me.
And we're going to do it today, too.
Beautiful.
In fact, I've included it in the order of service for every week because I also miss that song. Every unity that I've ever visited or have been the minister of closes with that song. So I think we're in agreement there. Now is the time of blessing our offerings. And once again, I'm appreciative